Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Fall camp kicked off yesterday. That means year 4 of the Josh Heupel era starts right now. The Nico era starts right now. And we start talking about expectations, predictions. What do we want from this football team in 2024? You can go out and look at Vegas. They've got the over-under set at 8.5. That's the win total for this football team in 2024. And I'm telling you, I'm here to tell you right now, hammer the over. You know, we've asked this question a lot throughout the offseason. Where are you guys at? What are your predictions? How many football games does this team win in 2024? But do you realistically sit there and think that this team doesn't take a step forward in 2024? Do you think they match the success from a year ago? And look, we look back at what Josh Heupel has done in just 3 short years on Rocky Top, and we're looking at an 8-4 regular season as a disappointment. We used to sit here and fight, scratch, and claw and beg just to get bowl eligible. Now Josh Heupel has us complaining about an 8-win season. But how would you feel if we didn't take a step in 2024? I think this roster is better. I think you're going to have better QB play. I think you've got veterans on both sides of the line of scrimmage. I think this Tim Banks defense takes another step, as it does every single year. I think 2024 is the year we finally have that talent on both sides of the ball. And I also think it's the year for Josh Heupel to go out and prove himself. And not that he hasn't done that in 3 years on Rocky Top. You know, you look what he did at year 1. We're at rock bottom. The way he's rebuilt this roster, I think he has proven himself, but I think he needs to prove that he can take that step to the elite level. And why do I say that? Why do I feel like year 4 is the year? Some people may say, Boogie, you sound like you're putting so much pressure on him, like you're going to doubt him. I'm not saying I'm doubting him. I'm saying there's no more excuses. And I was listening to J.D. Pickell, and he was breaking down the schedule for 2024, made some great points about this football team. Then he made his official prediction. So we're going to go through some of those comments, but the first one I want to listen to is this right here.
This is Josh Heupel's Tennessee. Every single thing on this roster, the way they do things, the culture, the quarterback, the system, everything now in Knoxville, Josh Heupel can sign his name next to and say, yep, that's us. There's no more, the previous staff, that doesn't exist anymore. This is Josh Heupel's Tennessee. So what do they do in 2024 from a wins-loss perspective?
We're going to get into that here in just a second. We're going to take a listen to what JD had to say, what his predictions are, what he thinks about this roster. But I love that right there. This is Josh Heupel's football team. There's no more excuses. There's no more BS. There's no more blame. There's no more pointing fingers. That's all in the past. There's no more NCAA investigation. The chips are in. You've got your quarterback. You've got your roster. You've rebuilt the depth. Now is the time for Josh Heupel to take another step. So what does J.D. Pickell think? Where is he at on this win total? Is he going over 8.5? Is he going under 8.5? 9 wins, 10 wins? We're going to get into it. We're going to break it down. We're going to take a listen to a couple of his comments that kind of validate why I think you should hammer the over. Before we do that, I need you guys to do that YouTube stuff. Just make sure you smash the thumbs up below the video. It is quick, free, easy, and it does help this channel. You know, a video last week, I told you guys, even if you just comment and say GBO, it plays the algorithm. You guys did it. That video blew up. So do it again. Just drop a GBO in the comment section. I would greatly appreciate it. And if it's your first time to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts here. We're not insiders. We're not media, journalists, reporters. We don't pretend to be any of that. We're fans. We do what fans do. If there's a rumor on a message board, we're going to speculate. We're going to talk recruiting. We're going to talk about wins and losses. We are diehard, passionate, psychotic fans for the fans, by the fans. If you like what we do, make sure you subscribe, click the bell for notifications. We're going to be covering the live commitment of Juan Gaston tomorrow. There's not a time on that yet, so be looking. We will go live also on Saturday. Faison Brandon comes off the board. Number 1 player in the class of 2026 is trending. He's trending to Tennessee. We're going to go live at 2:15 p.m. Eastern time, take you all the way up to the commitment. Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, the fan call-in shows return. So make sure you got those memberships up to date. Talkin VAWLS Elite and higher will get that link first. But let's get into it. Let's take a listen first to a couple of clips from JD that kind of validate why I think this football team takes a step in 2024. Let's take a listen.
The 2022 defense at Tennessee left something to be desired with that elite offense. That's not what you have here in 2024. Some new pieces in the secondary, absolutely, but you got James Pierce, a top 15 pick, if not a top 10 pick coming off the edge for you out there in Knoxville. A lot more depth up front than you've had in a long time. This is a defense now that's going to give you more than a chance. Like you can lean on this defense. You don't have to score every single possession if you're Tennessee. You'd like it, but you don't need it.
I love that. I love that you don't have to lean on this offense to score every single possession. And that's what that 2022 team felt like. Go back and look at the Alabama win from 2022. You had to lean on that offense. I think it's going to be different this time. I think sometimes you may lean on the offense, sometimes you're going to be able to lean on the defense. But I said at the top of the video, I've said it all off season. Tim Banks, this defense gets better every single year under his leadership. In 2021, you were 90th in scoring defense. You took a huge step into 2022. You were 36th in scoring defense. This past season, 23rd in scoring defense. I fully expect him to take another step. Last night on the live stream, by the way, if you missed it, go back and give it a watch. A lot of good stuff. Eric Kane of VolQuest was in the house. Me and the coaches, the X Factor, hung out. We talked about this football team. Coach Rice went on an absolute tangent talking about this defensive line and the potential that you've got just from talking about Joshua Josephs and putting on good weight, and how, Brent Hubbs of VolQuest had kind of said Joshua Josephs is taking this thing serious now. You move him from edge over to the defensive end because you're so deep. Now you're talking about James Pierce, Caleb Herring, Jordan Ross at edge, Dominic Bailey, Tyree West, Joshua Josephs at that defensive end position. Then you move inside with Big O, Bryson Easton, Norman Lott, Elijah Simmons, David Hobbs. It goes on and on and on. You were so deep on that defensive line. You're going to be able to wear down other teams because you're going to be able to use that rotation that Rodney Garner loves to use. And then you look at the linebacker room. You got a veteran in Keenan Peely. How does he bounce back from the injury? I think Arian Carter really takes a big step going into his sophomore year. I think we're going to see why Alabama was trying to beat down the door and get into the high school gym to win over his recruitment. But that was a big win for this coaching staff. Who's going to be that too deep for the linebacker room? I think Jeremiah Telander is a dude. Is it Caleb Perry? Is it Jalen Smith? Is Edwin Spillman ready to go as a true freshman? You got questions with the secondary. They're a young secondary, but everybody talks about their athleticism, their potential, their playmaking ability. But I think this defense takes a huge, huge step in this next upcoming season. So JD kind of goes through the wins and losses here. He goes UTC, obviously a win. He talks about the NC State game. He says it's a game where you really got to build some confidence. He called it a neutral site game, but he talked about how NC State was obviously going to travel well. Says it's an early test for Nico. NC State's going to play some good defense, but he says the Vols get the dub. Kent State, the Vols get the dub. This is where it got interesting. JD talking about Oklahoma. He says if you're Nico Iamaleava, you're about to grow up in front of everybody's eyes. He called it Nico's coming out party. He said it's a back-and-forth ball game, but he gives the Vols the dub. I'm on record of saying if they beat NC State and Oklahoma, this team is not going to win less than 10 games. Says you go on the road and play Arkansas. That's a dub. He thinks Florida's better than people think, says they're going to be scrappy. Vols get the dub. JD has Tennessee coming out of the first half of the season at 6-0. I'm saying if that's the case, watch out Alabama, because Neyland Stadium is going to be electric on October the 19th. However, JD disagrees. He gave Alabama the win, Tennessee the loss. He says he reserves the right to change that pick at a later date. Win over Kentucky, win over Mississippi State. He gives Tennessee a loss against Georgia, talked about how they just have too much personnel to win the one-on-one matchups. UTEP a dub, Vanderbilt a dub. Let's take a listen to his final comments after he rolls through the schedule game by game and says Tennessee should be 10-2. Let's take a listen.
Hey, don't look now. Tennessee's 10-2. First year with Nico Iamaleava running the show, 10-2. I think if you offer that to any Tennessee fan, they take that tomorrow. I really do.
What about you guys in the comment section right now? If I offered you 10-2, if I told you that Tennessee was going to beat everybody other than Alabama and Georgia, 10-2, potential college football playoff berth, would you take that? Would you accept it? Or do you think Tennessee is that good that they're looking at 11 wins? Or you think Tennessee's going to roll the table and go undefeated? I think Tennessee can win 11 games. Again, you come out of the first half of that season at 6-0. I think Alabama is going to have their hands full. Let's hear more.
10-2 means you're probably competing for a college football playoff spot. We'll see where we put you tomorrow. It also means that Nico is for real. Like all the hype, all the pressure, all the anticipation of what he was going to be, the number one recruit in 2023, lives up to it. His first year as the guy. That says a lot about him physically. Y'all, I would argue that says more about him mentally. To be able to handle that pressure, to be mature enough to be able to hear all the good things said about you and still play your best football, still play good enough football to make you 10-2, we should not overlook that. You got question marks? Sure. We'll see what the offensive line is when it comes to depth. We'll see what the secondary is. I just think they're going to score a lot of points. I think they're going to be deep enough at the key positions on the defensive side of the ball to hold up there in the bargain. And I think this offense will look a lot like it did in 2022.
What do you guys think? We had an interesting question last night. If you could start Hendon Hooker or Nico Iamaleava in Josh Heupel's offense, who you rolling with and why? Very interesting debate back and forth. That's JD Piquel's thoughts on this 2024 season. Again, the over-under set at 8.5. JD saying hammer the over. He's going 10 wins. That's where I'm at as of right now. But I'll agree with JD. We have the right to reserve. We reserve the right to change those picks at any moment. But I think Tennessee is looking at a 10-win season in year 4 of the Josh Heupel era. If they go under, 8-win season, how disappointed are you? Are you starting to doubt? Are you starting to question Josh Heupel? When do you start to turn that corner and kind of put him on the hot seat? Because everything he's done up to this point has been a success, and I think we will continue to see that. But jump into the comment section. A lot to unpack here. Great video from JD. Going to be reaching out to him soon. I would love to get him back on the channel before we roll into the football season here in less than a month. But jump into the comment section. Let's talk about it. Make sure you guys smash the thumbs up on the way out the door. Go check out the brand new Talkin VAWLS merchandise. You can do that at bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Also, make sure those memberships are up to date. If you like the channel, you like the videos, the content, the live streams, the community, whatever it is you want to support us, think about hitting that join button over there. You can do it for as little as $1 a month. Again, fan call-in show on Sunday. We will get the link out to Talkin VAWLS Elite and higher. Should be a fun time. But that is going to do it for this one. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope you have a great rest of your Thursday. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.